We cannot stop natural disasters, but we can arm ourselves with knowledge. So many lives wouldn't have to be lost if there was enough disaster preparedness. Wise words from Czech Republic national Petra Nemkova. And that's why on Jamaica Magazine, we continue to give you important information to help you make smart choices. Hello, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for tuning in. Today's show also looks at plans by the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries to increase production and grow the economy. Stay tuned for all the details.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya and dengue viruses. Protect yourself from the bite of this mosquito. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Good day, I'm Carrie Ann Smith and this is your GIS News for Thursday, June 23. A cardiac surgery center dedicated to children between the ages of 0 to 12 years will be built in Jamaica. The Southeast Regional Health Authority and several public and private stakeholders signed a memorandum of understanding to support the development on Tuesday. The Jamaica Children's Heart Center will be established at the Bustamante Hospital for Children at a cost of $10 million. At least 400 children are born with heart disease in Jamaica every year. Last year, the hospital performed 41 cardiac surgeries.
With the establishment of this new heart center, which will be dedicated to cardiac surgeries, the target will be tripled to at least 150 per year, and that's a major increase. This means more children who are in need of these surgeries will be able to have them done.
The Jamaica Children's Heart Center is designed to offer full surgical and aftercare services. It will also offer specialized training for surgeons, nurses, and other pediatric cardiac personnel, as well as support research activities. Within a few weeks, online access to essential government services will be free of cost. Minister of Science, Energy and Technology, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, made the announcement during his contribution to the sectoral debate on Tuesday.
Even if your credit is done, if your data plan is exhausted, or if your data package at home is in arrears, Jamaicans will be able to access key Government of Jamaica sites, services, and Ministry of Education content to pay taxes, apply for birth certificates, and access educational materials online for free.
The no-cost access to over 200 sites and services will roll out on a phased basis.
We believe, Mr. Speaker, that this will spur the development of citizen-to-government mobile apps. It will, Mr. Speaker, boost interaction between government and citizens. Mr. Speaker, we believe that it will broaden the tax net and improve collections, since access will now be easier and more convenient.
Government will be spending $1.2 billion this financial year to improve street lighting and carry out community renewal projects. This will be done under an initiative called Street Lighting, Installations, Loss Reduction and Community Renewal, or SILC. 25 communities in St. James, St. Catherine, Kingston and St. Andrew are being targeted under the initiative.
Aimed at civic and security improvements, safety protection, loss reduction and affordability to our communities, the SILC project, Mr. Speaker, will build on existing initiatives between JPS, NESOL, JSIF, and MSET.
The local government ministry is putting systems in place to improve accountability and enhance service delivery at parish councils. Portfolio Minister Desmond McKenzie says a land divestment committee is already in place to ensure that the sale and lease of lands held by parish councils is done in full compliance with government policies and laws.
We'll be approaching the Office of the Contractor General to assist us in developing an highly efficient system of procurement for the local authorities.
Minister McKenzie was making his sectoral presentation to Parliament on Wednesday. He told the House that councils which breach procurement and other financial rules would be penalized and denied funding allocations. Come August, all auditors in the parish councils will be trained to facilitate a quarterly reporting system. That system will be implemented in late August. And finally, students will be required to sit a grade 9 diagnostic examination starting in the 2019 academic year. The exam will be an intermediate program of assessment before secondary students sit the CXC external examinations.
This is a very important assessment because, as you know, in our high schools traditionally, this is a stage where you're trying to understand students' strengths, weaknesses, interest as they prepare for their exit at grade 11.
And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Carrie-Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
All the people them with a Zig V, hold up your hand. Zig V in the Caribbean territory, but we now want that virus take set pan we. So make sure send no stagnant water inside and mash up all mosquito breed inside. Pour hole in the tin them where you dash way and change the water in your vase every day. No litter, dispose of your garbage proper. You know them the thing that we turn drain backer. Tour your community and tour your yard for suppress mosquito. We have figure hard dash we old tire turn over drum pan for prevention is the greatest weapon. And special shout out to pregnant ladies, protect yourselves and protect your babies. Draw for your zapper and your mosquito spray. If you do all that we can to keep them away. For we know war Zig V.
A series of plans to strengthen and grow the micro, small and medium enterprises MSME sector was recently announced by Minister Carl Samuda. They form part of the drive for economic growth and job creation through increased production. For the 2016-2017 financial year, the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries will be targeting some key areas to drive economic growth through production.
By any standard.
Portfolio Minister Carl Samuda outlined several initiatives in his sectoral presentation. Many were geared towards micro, small and medium enterprises or MSMEs.
Given the creative potential of this sector, its propensity for innovation and job creation, the government has to focus on this sector in a more structured way.
This includes a review of the 2013 MSME and entrepreneurship policy over the next 3 months to create a standard definition for the MSME sector.
This initiative will improve the reporting of financial statistics for the sector and will lay the foundation for development of more tailored financing products.
In addition, a national catalogue of MSME initiatives will be made available at the end of June. This is to provide information on what's being offered to the sector across the island. An initiative is also underway to expand the outreach of business development services to the sector, working in partnership with parish-based institutions and through web-related products.
We have made arrangement with the chambers of commerce across the country to meet every 3 months. And at those meetings, we will review all the obstacles to business and collectively through a working partnership, we will be able to get the job done.
Other initiatives to strengthen and grow the MSME sector include
improving access to financing for the productive microsector, working closely with the Finance Ministry, the DBJ and private sector financial institutions, including banks, credit unions, and microfinancing.
And more support is being given to manufacturers in the import and export business. Mr. Samuda said an agreement was in place with customs to allow for a maximum turnaround time of 15 days to process manufacturers' applications for duty concessions.
We will be doing our utmost, and the entire ministry is mobilized in this regard. It makes it easier for everybody to do business.
In the area of agriculture, government has taken mediatory steps to continue production at the Long Pond and Moneymusk sugar factories. Cabinet recently gave approval for the Sugar Company of Jamaica, SCJ Holdings, to operate the Moneymusk sugar factory for the 2016-2017 crop year.
Our intervention is a holding position while Pan-Caribbean engages new investors in their field operation and other streams of revenue from the sugarcane with a view to resume operations in 2016-2017 crop year.
An agreement between the government and Pan-Caribbean will see SCJ Holdings managing the 2,800 hectare property, which will be leased to cane farmers in 18 block sizes.
Applicants have already been shortlisted and arrangements have been made with the input suppliers to extend credit to these farmers on a cropland basis.
Water will be provided by the National Irrigation Commission.
The government's sole interest and motivation is the preservation of jobs and the livelihood of independent farmers as long as local economy needs it in southern Clarendon.
As for the Long Pond Sugar Factory, the Agriculture Minister told Parliament that $180 million allocated in the previous administration for transportation support had been diverted to repair the factory. This is to keep the factory operational for the 2016-2017 crop year, while the Long Pond owners search for new investors and other revenue streams.
We are currently in the process of rescuing 70,000 tons of cane. A commitment to supply 45,000 tons to Worthy Park to give them additional throughput to make their factory more profitable.
Minister Samuda stressed that the operations had rescued the livelihoods of over 230 farmers and 130 workers in the factory. The Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries committed to economic growth and job creation through production, putting policies in place to grow micro, small and medium enterprises and taking action to ensure production.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
Up next, lessons to learn from past hurricanes and measures to better prepare ourselves for future ones.
The forecast is based on the projection that we will have a near average season. Here we see on our chart the average season consisting of about 12 tropical storms, 6 hurricanes and 2 major hurricanes. A major lesson that we learned from last year was in Tropical Storm Erica. The center of Erica passed about 90 miles to the north of Dominica. The system did not hit Dominica. It was a tropical storm in an inactive season that stayed away from the island. Okay? Erica produced over $480 million in damage to Dominica, and over 30 lives were lost. There was significant flooding, significant devastation, there were significant landslides, and Dominica, it was suggested that about half of the GDP was the nature of the loss. I want us to remember the messages that come out of the Meteorological Service during a hurricane season, especially if there is any considered threat or possibility of threat. There is the tropical storm or the hurricane watch that is issued when a tropical storm or hurricane poses a possible threat within 48 hours. So if we consider that there is a possible threat within a 2-day period, we would issue a watch. So make sure that you have a battery-operated radio. Electricity might fail you. So ensure that you're able to hear what these watches are.
Our focus in the Ministry of Health really is to look at heightened surveillance for us to be able to detect and contain any disease. I am spending a little time on the arboviruses because you know we are approaching the rainy season. Yes, we are. So he said. And it means that what is going to come up? Mosquitoes. Guess who come? They're going to come up in their numbers. And as such, we have to be able to contain whatever illness that is being transmitted. And we have 4 on our hands. We have chick, we have dengue, we have Zika, and what is the other one? Yellow fever, all transmitted by the very same beautiful female mosquito. Right, so we have to have our heightened surveillance to detect and contain the virus. Most importantly, we need to ensure that the public is aware. We need to be sending the message or the messages and ensuring that the impact that I really want is what is received. So we have to look at how we craft these messages. It is important that we enhance our integrated vector management program. We must strengthen laboratory capacity. We must continue training. And of course, we can't do it alone. There's nothing that I'm going to speak about that is a health matter. It is our matter, a Jamaica matter.
The National Works Agency's responsibility is a big one, being a first responder in the event of a weather system impacting us. In preparation for this year, we have been doing a number of things. From as far back as December, when we had a RMF-funded program valued at $140 million, under which we cleaned many drains right across the country. I must tell you that we have some 175 drains, main drains that we have identified around the country. And these pretty much form the core of our activities whenever it is we are planning for the hurricane season.
My message is not about our state of readiness, but is about getting compliance. I believe we have become very irresponsible. You know, we deal with certain issues in the country. And when we look at what the country has to spend to clean drains and to do all the necessary mitigation work that is needed, when we ask ourselves the question, if we were a more responsive society in terms of abiding by the laws of the land, we would be able to mitigate significantly in the amount of money we spend to put in corrective measures. While I will readily admit that the National Solid Waste Management Authority is not equipped fully to deal effectively with garbage collection, but it is no excuse for us to continue to be operating this way. I strongly believe that compulsory evacuation has to be the way in many communities. The law must take its course. I don't believe that people in Portland Cottage and in sections of St. Thomas and St. Mary and sections of the corporate area, whenever the warning is given, I don't believe nobody should tell us that me nah move. The law should take its course. So compliance has to be a part of the program this year as we deal with our preparedness for disaster response.
Every year during the hurricane season, persons are reminded to make sure they stock up on essential items and set them aside in the event that we are affected. But how much do people know about what should be included in this kit? Follow me out the road for some answers.
water, because you know water get contaminated during this time and so forth. Try at least to get at least the minimum stuff that you can get for it to last you at least a week.
One of the things I would look at is like a generator. And get that ready, because you know when hurricane hits, no power.
Hurricane season coming up, you got to have like food, flashlight, batteries, and all those stuff. Those are really necessary.
Candles, medication, you have like kerosene, you have to have that, batteries, you know, and important documents.
Candles and batteries for your flashlight and those stuff, and if you have a radio, that'll be a good, because you know your battery will be good for your radio so you can keep up with the news.
Flashlight, battery, water containers to store water, canned food, medical supplies, because if you're sick, you know, you have a certain illness, you should make sure you have enough medication.
When hurricane season, well, like people prepare like them food, them matches, them lamp, them kerosene.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. A message from the Ministry of Health.
It's time now for a little exercise, a simulation to test the strength of our infrastructure and vulnerability of our environment in the event of a natural disaster.
Floods and earthquakes are two of the most common natural disasters. But unlike earthquakes, which usually take us by surprise, flooding to some extent can be predicted.
But when it is, what should we do with the information? And how do we safeguard ourselves and properties against this eventuality?
Through the use of revolutionary technology, awareness of the possible outcomes of a natural disaster has become more advanced. Persons are now able to use data on location, roof, and house type to create a simulation of what may happen in an earthquake, tropical storm, or hurricane.
The simulation was designed to combine place, type of structure, and event. Because Jamaica is vulnerable to four types of events: hurricane/tropical storms, landslides, floods, and earthquakes. But the same building that you live in is exposed to all four. And that same building you live in will react differently to all four.
Jamaica's landscape equally sits in low-lying and coastal areas as on hills and valleys. The country is also in an earthquake zone, so it can't hurt to do a little research on all the what-ifs, right?
You'll be able to go inside your house and see your roof being blown off, or your slab roof staying on. You'll be inside your slab roof house when earthquake shakes, it comes down on you. We'll be able to have those type of simulations.
How about the possible outcome of a Category 5 hurricane if you're living in a zinc roof wooden house that is built on stilts in a river valley? So now that these predictions are available to us, just how useful are they?
This simulator is now designed to take all of that information, the conventional knowledge that we as academics know, or the disaster management professional knows, dump it online as we have. Let the developer, housing developer, have access to it and see for himself. Let the parish council person or the development approval authority play with it.
And once they've viewed it, the authorities can use the data to plan areas for development, approve or deny development applications, and build better. The simulator is not just a special effect disaster interactive tool, but one that takes into account the realities of environmental and living conditions here in Jamaica.
And the simulator also seeks to bring an awareness of the impact natural disasters may have on lives, properties and businesses in relation to the country's national goals.
The effect a hazard would have on everything ranging from the individual to the nation is important, and scaremongering only goes so far.
The simulator allows you to either scare yourself or reassure yourself, but it's based on reality.
Another useful element to this drill is the data it uses. Historical data are planted and come to life through the simulator to facilitate emergency responses as well as forward planning in action.
Knowing where hazards are and knowing where they're not is extremely valuable information to businesses such as insurance. Instead of blanketing Portland as a hazard-prone parish, we can know which parts of Portland are hazard-prone, therefore allowing people in Portland who are not in hazard-prone areas to get lower insurance premiums. You underwrite them differently. And you also underwrite more accurately and properly the people who are in hazard-prone zones.
So, if you have already bought your dream home or are thinking of buying or building, you may want to try a few simulation exercises to test the stability of your home or to find out if where you intend to build is the best place to put down roots.
We have come to the end of another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. We value your feedback and ask that you send your comments to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or a tweet at JIS News. You may also visit our website at www.jis.gov.jm. Don't forget to join us again tomorrow. On behalf of the production crew, I am Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.